Hey, welcome to the channel. It is a beautiful day out here. Nice spring day in February. It's about, I don't say about 60 degrees, 55 to 60 degrees. It's really nice. It's not too windy, nice and sunny, blue skies. So I figured I'd take this opportunity, try to get some work done on the car. So we're gonna address this fuel issue that we had. So let's get started. Okay, so if you watched the last video or two, I was having a fuel sending issue. I wasn't getting any fuel out of the sending unit. So I kind of tried every option I could to eliminate individual parts. So at first I kind of thought it was a fuel pump. So I unhooked the fuel lines from the pump, put a line from the pump into a jug of gas, and it pumps just fine. So I eliminated that. So I thought maybe it was the fuel line itself. So I hooked an electric fuel pump, this little guy here, into the line that was connected to the sending unit. Nothing. So I thought maybe I had a kink in the line or something was stopped up in the line, and that still may be the case. But so I came back even farther, unhooked the line from the sending unit, and hooked my fuel pump straight into the sending unit. Which, I mean, it should just pump gas immediately. Like, there should be no with electronic fuel pump like that, there should be nothing stopping it. It should pump. Nothing was coming out. So I hooked a piece of fuel hose, sorry, sun's in my eyes, into the sending unit and tried to blow like some compressed air through the sending unit, because if you do that, you should hear bubbles in the tank. There should be some air going through, but I wasn't getting anything. It was actually building up so much pressure, it was blowing my rubber hose off the sending unit. It was nothing getting through. So something in the sending unit is clogged. So I dug out my old one to just kind of, here's the old one, to just try to see what could be going wrong. And I mean, really the only thing that sun is right there. The only thing it could be maybe is that sock is somehow, I don't know, it's just kind of blocking the hole or something. But I posted in the 4A Bodies Only forum about this, and everybody was telling me you don't have to drop the tank, that's just extra work. So let me explain the reason why in the last fuels video that I said I was going to drop the tank. If you go back probably a year ago and watch the video of me trying to get this gas tank to not leak, it was a pain. Like, I ended up having to make my own gaskets, and like the locking ring, I tried a bunch of different ones. None of them would actually seal. So the reason I said I was going to drop the tank is because I knew how much trouble it was going to be to get this thing to seal, and I don't think I have enough room in there to work on making this thing seal like it should and not leak. So that's why I said I was going to drop the tank. So anybody that thought I was stupid for saying to drop the tank just to remove the sending unit, yes, I know you do not have to drop the tank to remove the sending unit. But in my case, I just thought it was better because I knew that it was going to leak if I didn't. But on that note, I am going to try to not drop this tank. I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, it's worth a shot, because either way, if I drop it, I'm gonna have to reseal it. So if I can somehow manage to save a step, just pull out the sending unit, figure out why it's not letting that fuel flow, and manage to get it back in there without it not leaking, I'm saving a step. If it does leak, then I gotta drop the tank anyway. So I mean, it's kind of the same either way. So I'm gonna try not to drop the tank. just because it's not fun. But let's first thing we're gonna start is with the fuel pump. My little electronic fuel pump. I'm gonna suck all the gas out so I don't spill any fuel while removing this sending unit. So let me get this thing hooked up. I got my lawnmower here behind us that I'm gonna hook the fuel pump to, and let's get this thing pumping fuel. All right, so we're pumping fuel. This little eBay fuel pump here has been the most convenient purchase for exchanging fuels if you got to add it into a tank or out of a jug or vice versa. Man, it's so much easier than trying to fit a funnel in there, and these new safety gas jugs make it near impossible to fill up into a filler tube. So you always got to use a funnel, and it makes a mess. But those little things right there, man, they come in handy. And all I've done was I took some wire out of a broken extension cord. It's good heavy gauge. I think it's maybe a 12 gauge wire. But I used I probably ought to just remove this and start over because I had to splice it. Because this right here was my original one, and I decided it wasn't long enough, so I added to it. But of course I got the black as ground and then the white as hot. So I just took and mounted 2 connections that go to the electric fuel pump connection, and then I connected it with some alligator clips, and I got it clamped on there, and then I soldered it, and then I put the heat shrink tube, which that shrink tube ain't worth a crap. It didn't shrink very well. I need to redo that, but it works really well. All right, so it's been about 5 more minutes, and as you can see, well, I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but this jug's getting full right there. Right there's the fuel level. Yeah, you can see it. Right there's the fuel level. Right there's the fuel line. So it's almost full. It's moving along pretty good. So it's been probably, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes, and I've got 5 gallons out of it. So it's a pretty efficient little way of emptying gas out. It's not the fastest way, but it's a lot easier than siphoning. Got the other jug ready, so when this one gets full, I'm gonna kill the pump, switch the jugs out, and we'll keep trucking. Check that out. 70 degrees. Pretty nice. I'm still wearing my sweatshirt. I'm starting to get hot. So got all the fuel out. We're gonna go ahead and start trying to get this sending unit out. We get a screwdriver and a hammer to try to turn that ring. And I'm almost 100% confident I'm not gonna be able to do this on camera, but I'm gonna try. I'll just set the camera up and record as I'm working. But I don't know how much of it you'll be able to see. But once we get it out, we'll see what's going on. So stick with us. So not big enough. Wrong kind of hammer. Too big. Too big. Maybe. Bent. Wrong kind of hammer. I got a lot of hammers, and none of them seem to be right for this job. So let's try this one. So it's really tight under here, but I wanted to show y'all. I went all that trouble, all that work I went through trying to get this thing to not leak. It's leaking. And this blue stuff here was supposed to be like a gas safe sealer, gasket maker stuff that I paid a lot for, and it doesn't look like it worked. It's like turned to liquid. The gas just made it goo. So Like at the beginning of this video when I said I had all that trouble getting this thing to seal, it still didn't seal because it's leaking. So I think I got as much gas out of this thing as I'm wanting to get, so I'm just going to set the camera up and we'll try to get this thing off. Let's see if you can see anything right there, maybe. Can you see anything right there, maybe? Right. Alright, so yeah. Alright. I'm gonna try to figure out which way this ring goes because I can't remember. That looks like I need to go lefty loosey. I'm gonna try it with a pair of pliers first, so I don't have to. Oh, well, that was easy. And I'm not getting my eyes full of gas, so that means we drained it all out. There's the ring. That was not tight at all. Here comes the sending unit. Let's get that fuel line out of the way. The fuel line is right in my way. And we'll try to very carefully, but not get any dirt or anything in the fuel tank. Let's try to fish this thing out of here. Oh, good Lord. What's it hitting on? There's my... There we go. Oh, good Lord, come out. There we go. Huh? The sock is filled with gas. Let's see. Alright, let me get this thing out of here. I got a piece of cardboard down so I can lay it on it and not get dirty, and also not get these parts dirty, because I'm gonna go ahead and get this seal out of here because it didn't work. This is gonna suck. I'm trying to put this seal in upside down like this and it not leak, because to be honest, it sucked on the bench. Yeah, that did not hold at all. It just made it gooey. That blue stuff is that blue sealant stuff. I'll show you if I can find it. But yeah, it did not. I mean, I'm not gonna say it didn't work at all, because it's not. It wasn't leaking bad, but it's still leaking. It's not like it was before, but it's still got like a little. Alright, so this ring looks like it got bent put in. I think it's why it's easy to come out. Alright, well, let's get back to the bench and see if we can figure out what's going on with this sending unit. Okay, so I found the problem. Had a couple people on the forum say that they believed it was this sock was pushed too far forward, and that's exactly what it was. So if you guessed that, you're right. So the way this thing was, it was, well, I can't even get it back there. It was like right there. If you blow in this, nothing comes through. And I just literally turned this like a 1/4 inch backwards, 1/8 of an inch maybe. Now there's air coming through the sock. So something that simple. And I don't know, I guess people who's done this before, that's had this problem before, would know to look for that. But I would have never thought in a million years to put my mouth on that and blow through it to make sure that this was going to get air to suck fuel. Wasn't like going to be hydrolocked. So yeah, that was that simple. That's all it was. So now I'm curious. I don't want to take this all the way off and break it, because I don't remember taking this off. I don't remember messing with it. So I'm just curious, like, how far should it be? I'm gonna go ahead and take it off and see. So like, should I just go ahead and take it? I think it's already got stuff in it. How? How does it have stuff in it when it's not had anything ran through it? So I'm gonna hit this. Like, I don't know if you can see, but it's got like dirt in there or something. And I'm not sure where that would have come from. Because I mean, it was never had any fuel through it because this was on too far. But if you look, there's like a little, right there with my fingers, there's a little plastic plug, and that's the end of the sock. And then this is just a screen, and there's another one here with a hole in it, and this just slides on. So what happened was this was pushed all the way up against this piece of plastic, so nothing was coming through. So this needs to be, I'm assuming, maybe like that, halfway through. That way air, not air, fuel can still get through the screen. But yeah, it's really odd, because if you look, I mean, ignore the dirt, but there's, I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but there's actually a recess. Oh, you can see it on the end. On the outside, there's a recess. Yeah, you can really see it right there, where this comes out. So this can go in. Well, that's stupid. There's no way that fuel can pass through this because it's solid. That's exactly what the problem was. This right here was smashed into that. I wish the camera would pick that up better, but you can see it's like a recess shoulder that this slid into. So this end was in this plug, and there's no way that fuel's gonna get through there because it's solid. And then, I mean, it's sealed because it fit inside of here, so the fuel wasn't getting through here. That's stupid. Why would they design that? I need to find, I don't know if I kept it. I doubt I did, but I had the original sock filter off the original sending unit. I need to look and see if that's on that one, because I know that can't be right. So what I want to do, I'm just going to put it on there about halfway. Actually, I need to clean this out first. So let's do that real quick. I got, let me get some compressed air. So I didn't have my air compressor hooked up, so I just used some, that's actually carburetor cleaner. It's compressed enough. I got most of that stuff out, but there's still a little bit trapped inside of the sock. And so I'm contemplating whether I should even put this back on now. I really don't understand where that stuff come from, but you can see like it's trapped in the sock, but I don't see anything inside anymore, so I guess we'll put it back on there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it on about halfway. Maybe like it right there. I mean, you can see right here's the line where it was at before. So I think it's about halfway. There's plenty of air coming through it now. So next thing I need to do is get all this gunk cleaned off and find a O-ring to get this sealed back up. So let me work on that. Alright, so I got a real bad case of deja vu. I've got all these gaskets and all these rings, and none of them seem to fit. And now I don't have the luxury of the gas tank sitting on the bench in front of me to try to test them. That one right there is beat up pretty good where I tried to make it seal. That one right there looks like it was it's pretty tight because I bent the little lug trying to either get it on or get it off. I don't remember which one, but about a year ago I was doing this same puzzle, and I don't know, now I'm redoing it. So I think the best thing to do is I'm gonna take all this and I'm gonna go outside and try to get the best combination that I can to make it not leak. So honestly, the best thing to do would probably be maybe one of these on the inside and then one of these on the outside, but it seems like, if I remember correctly, I couldn't get the lock ring on because it was too thick. But one is not thick enough, it was loose and it would leak. Honestly, I know that RTV is not made for gasoline, but I'm thinking about that's kind of like my original plan a year ago, was to just slather this thing down with RTV and send it, because I know it's gonna leak with these aftermarket O-ring lock rings and gaskets. I know it's gonna leak. There's no question about it. I've done it too many times last year and it leaked every single time. That's why I ended up going with the sealant. I can't find the sealant that I used last year, that blue stuff, but clearly it didn't do a good job either because it leaked. So I'm seriously thinking about just slathering it down with some RTV and seeing it, see what happens. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It'll leak. It's gonna leak anyway if I don't use it. So I don't know. I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna take it with me, and I'm gonna see how tight I can get these rings to fit. I don't know how much of this I'll be able to get on camera, but let's get to it. We're wasting daylight. Alright, so I got this thing in here finally, and I did it the way I should have done it from the very beginning, and that is the wrong way. So what I did was, I just got that thing caked down with RTV. I went and I put a nice thick ring of RTV around the surface between the sanding unit and the tank. Slid the sanding unit in. I mean, it nice and sticky. It fit in there. It didn't go up and down. I actually got the little there's like grooves cut out, little notches. I got the notches lined up, slid it in, and it was sticky enough that it just sucked it in there. And then I went around the outside with more RTV, put a rubber gasket over the sanding unit and the RTV, put more RTV, put the lock ring on, got it locked as best as I could, and then put more RTV around it. So, God forbid I ever have to take this thing back out. Because if I ever have to take this thing back out, I got like a whole tube with the RTV to cut out. But I don't think it's going to leak in the next maybe year or two. I'd say eventually the gas may eat through the RTV. I'm not sure, because there's really no, like, the surface area between the sending unit and the tank. It's got like a little groove in it. That's basically like I created an O-ring in there. So there really should be no gas on the exterior RTV. I mean, that O-ring should pretty much seal itself up. Now, one thing I am going to do is I'm not going to put anything in this tank for over 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. I'm going to, honestly, I may just wait 4 or 5 days just to make sure 100% this stuff is cured and hardened before I introduce any liquids to it, because I would say that if it's not fully cured and you put gas on it and it gets that, the gas will probably eat it quicker if it's not cured. So I'm actually going to do a test. I got a piece of I used the tube of RTV I got as a used one, and I don't know how everybody else does it, but I'd use you got the little pointy cone thing, and then I just stick a screw in it. Well, that cone is always full, so when you take your screw out, you turn it upside down, and you can pull the hardened stuff out the bottom. What you end up with is a nice little cone of cured RTV. Well, I've got some gas. I'm gonna just drop that down in there, and just like in a little Mountain Dew bottle or water bottle or whatever, and just to see if it deteriorates it. Leave it for a week or two, see what happens. I mean, I know it's not going to be an accurate test for a lifetime gas tank, because if it, a year or two down the road, it may start leaking. I'm not sure. But I know 100% for a fact that if I don't do something on here, it's going to leak anyway, because I used every single gasket, every single lock ring combination that I have, and they all leaked. And that was like instantly. Like, I could just put, the gas tank wasn't in the car. I just put the sending unit in the tank, put the gasket, lock ringed it, locked the lock ring on. And they're not easy to get on. You kind of got to take a screwdriver and, spin them with a hammer to get them locked in place. They're very tight. And I would put gas in the tank and kind of slosh around, and it would instantly start leaking. So every combination that I could possibly think of, and they all leaked. So it may be a short-term fix. It may start leaking in a year or two, or it may last forever. I don't know, but we'll find out. But let me get cleaned up and get out of here, and we'll go ahead and wrap this video up. Okay, so I found some more issues with this fuel system that I don't know, I've never seen anything like this before. But so the test with the fuel pump into the line with the gas jug didn't work, so I wasn't getting anything out. So started looking into the fuel line, tried to blow air pressure through it, nothing through the fuel line either. But I know that sending unit is plugged, so I'm confident that problem is fixed. But the fuel line is still a whole separate issue. So last year, when I had the issue with the rust in the tank and the dirty tank, I cleaned out all the fuel lines. I just used compressed air with I actually used brake cleaner, just sprayed it in there, and then I sprayed it with the compressed air. Well, apparently it all got caught, like it cleaned the lines out, but it all got caught at the end. Because this right here is the end of the fuel line. I cut it off, and I don't know if you can see it, but it is completely closed off. Nothing is, like it is, it's like a 2.5 inch piece, and whatever that nasty rusty stuff is in there is all the way through on both ends. And here's the other end of the line. Let me turn the camera around. As you can see, if it'll focus, even those 2 inches I cut off, it is still clogged up with that rust stuff. This end is not. So I cut about about 2 foot of this fuel line off. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a piece of rubber hose that I've cut here, and I'm gonna splice it back into the good line. And I know it's not ideal, but I'm not replacing the whole fuel line for a section that you know is that long that's bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish cleaning this out and get this thing spliced up, and hopefully the fuel line will be done. Now we're gonna go ahead and call this one good. I'm getting the fuel lines all buttoned up. I finally got all that sludge out. I had to cut about 4 inches off to get it all out. You can see there, if it'll focus, it's just like solid sludge. That's why I wasn't getting nothing out of the fuel line. But I'm confident that the sock was part of the problem too, because I was not getting any air out of that. So even if I would have found this first, I would have still had to remove that sanding unit. So I ain't got nothing in it, because like I said, I'm not putting any gas on that silicone yet. But I do got all the fuel lines hooked back up. I had to splice that one where I cut that fuel line about that far, but I'm gonna let it ride. So that's gonna wrap this video up. I thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more on the Dart and other projects. Thank you for watching. See you next time.